Things just got real with today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Forget everything you think you know about mobile games, because one of the most ambitious RPG projects of 2019 has been released. Raid has all the features you'd expect from a brand new RPG title, like amazing storylines, awesome 3D graphics, and hundreds of champions to collect and customize. Raid is getting big real fast, so get in early. Starting now will give you a huge head start. There's also an upcoming special launch tournament with crazy prizes. So go to the description of this video now and download Raid only through my links to get 50,000 silver immediately, and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. Back when Pewdiepie became the most subscribed to person on YouTube in 2013, he was despised by many teenage and 20-some-year-old men for being childish, obnoxious, and undeserving of the fame and fortune he had received. Half a decade later, however, this same exact demographic that wanted him off the website not only now likes him, but are found actively fighting to keep him at the #1 spot. Because of this, I wanted to understand what happened that caused such a drastic change in public opinion for YouTube's most famous Swede. Before we get to all that, however, let's go back to the beginning of Felix's career as a young Let's Player in 2010. At the time, he didn't even show his face on camera, but was rather just doing this as a fun pastime. Two big changes, however, would allow him to blow up. The first of which was a change in the algorithm done to counteract abuse by React girls. This may be the most important moment in the site's history, as it now considered watch time when deciding who would be promoted on the site. The winners of this change were Let's Play channels that could effortlessly put out hours of content a week to satisfy the new YouTube system. This included Felix, who was in the right place at the right time. The other thing Pewdiepie did was start to incorporate a face cam into his content, where he'd provide over-the-top reactions to the games he was playing. This was deemed funny by his young audience, and was also most effective in viral horror games such as Slender Man, where all these Let's Play guys would act like 4-year-olds freaking out at even the tamest of jump scares.
And for more than... Whoa. Whoa! What the hell is that?
I'm stuck! I'm stuck! No! What the world? You failed us! Slender, you failed us!
For this video, I actually went back and tried to play Slender Man for the fun of it, and surprise, it was not scary at all. The game has a decent atmosphere for a free indie project, but I don't think the scares were earned for such a bite-sized experience. Say what you will about Five Nights at Freddy's, but the way that series has you focus in on the screen before the bear jumps out at you is 10 times more effective than this. I know DSP Gaming gets mocked a lot, but I have to give him props for being one of the only people back in the day to buck the trend and mock the game for not being scary.
Yeah, but isn't that a bad idea because when we get stuck in there?
Oh, he came.
Oh yeah! Oh, I pissed my pants!
The reason I'm going off topic and bringing all this up is because back in the day, I remember writing in the comments of a Pewdiepie video that his reactions were clearly fake. But I was quickly called an idiot because you couldn't fake something like that. This dynamic of teens and adults getting sick of the false freakouts that were pulling in millions of views made many resentful at how much attention the system was giving to Let's Plays over everything else. People were irritated at any creator doing this, but since Pewdiepie rose to be the most subscribed to person in the genre, most of the anger was directed at him. So with him blowing up, doing super obnoxious Let's Plays, and quickly becoming a millionaire with an army of little kids watching, it of course became cool to hate on him. A plethora of creators start to make content about why they despise Felix so much, and on one occasion he actually slipped up and validated them with a snarky response. Pretty funny, I'll admit, but seriously though, have you never heard if you don't like it then don't watch it? Actually, never mind, keep watching. Your extra views get me extra cash. LOLOL. Ladies and gentlemen, Pewdiepie himself just came in and declared himself an a-hole YouTube whore. What say you fanboys? So you're gonna be the you losers get me cash guy, huh? After this, the critics went crazy saying that Felix was only doing it for the money and was a hack. And this went on for years, even though he grew to be the most subscribed to person ever. As mentioned before, most of this hate came from teenage and 20-some-year-old men. That was until a strange shift started to happen, where the exact same demographic that hated him became his greatest allies. So you may ask how such a dramatic shift occurred. Well, it starts with a change in his content. As time went on, the market for Let's Plays on YouTube started to fade. The gold rush was over. Because of this, we saw him shift away from gaming content in favor of doing videos where he discussed internet culture. Where have I heard that before? He also matured and started to drop the funny voices and obnoxious screaming. In 2019, he now jokes about having a 9-year-old army, but I feel that his audience is only getting older as time progresses. The other reason we saw a shift in favor of Pewdiepie from the YouTube community was that the mainstream media unintentionally turned him into a martyr with their constant hit pieces. At some point, journalists discovered that Felix was a good source of page views, and since they were dealing with a politically incorrect channel, there was always something to get outraged by. This resulted in calls for his removal from the platform for being too offensive, with many going as far to call him a racist and a Nazi. All this plan did, though, was somehow turn the biggest channel on YouTube into the little guy fighting against the no-good establishment, who were attempting to silence his free speech. You can disagree with that assessment, of course, but it is how millions of people view the situation. After that died down a bit, the next event that would provide him with even more support is the rise of T-Series. When the Indian channel conglomerate was on track to beat him out for subscribers, the online community rallied together in support of PewDiePie to keep him at the #1 spot. While this effort was half a meme, there was also a motivating factor of keeping an independent creator at the top of the list. This fight in some way symbolized the sterilization of YouTube, where faceless companies had slowly taken over. As you can see, PewDiePie went from being hated for being big to somehow turning into the little guy fighting against the mainstream media and large corporate-run channels. In recent years, it's been made clear that no matter how rich or powerful you are, people would still rather support an individual over a faceless group or company. Look at Elon Musk or Donald Trump for an example of this. When the media attacks them, it only makes their followers more committed. In conclusion, the exact demographic that hated PewDiePie during his rise are now his biggest fans because of this shift. And I think it shows how much the online landscape has developed in the past half-decade. Hey everybody, and thank you so much for making it to the end of this video today. It's really appreciated, and I apologize if I sounded really congested in this video. I was kind of sick and I'm just getting over it, but hopefully the video came out okay. As for the question of the day, somebody wants to know if I have any plans post-YouTube. And at this point, I'm really not sure. For years at the start of me doing this full-time, I was telling myself that I'd just take the money I earned from this career and then invest it in me going back to college debt-free. But I really, in 2019, cannot see myself going back to college. I kind of think I'm here to stay, or at least hopefully. I've been doing YouTube full-time for close to 4 years now, and the numbers have really stabilized to the point where it seems that I have a dedicated audience that watches me. I know that that's not a sure thing and I could die at any point, but I have projects going on in the background that will hopefully bring me to the next level. They're not developed enough for me to come out and tell you about them yet, but I think I have some very interesting things in the works that should hopefully be coming out within the next 6 months or so, hopefully. And yeah, I'm really trying to invest some of the money I'm making off of my channel right now, because I'm doing well, into new projects for you guys. I'm not doing Kickstarters or anything like that. I'm self-financing all of these new projects, and when they come out, I think you'll be pleased with them. So yeah, I really, at this point, no longer have any plans to do anything post-YouTube. Thankfully, I've been saving up my money for the past 4 years, and even if this all went down the drain one day, all of a sudden, I would have a bit of a buffer time to figure out what I would do next. Although, I'm hoping that this sticks around. You know, I was in a bad place after the adpocalypse happened, but I've kind of restructured this channel, and I'm actually optimistic for the future, which is a good place to be in. So I'll end the video on that high note, and until next time, thanks for watching.
Grosse Lanze an Bandis, auditorie.